Hi, this is John again for Outstanding Poker. This is a video that's kind of following on from the last video that I did. I did that pretty in-depth 3-betting video, and I still realised after it that I'd missed out a couple of 3-bet concepts. So I'm going to address these two 3-bet concepts in this video, and one of them is squeezing, and then the other one is a 3-bet where the action is very similar, but we want a different outcome to the 3-bet. Right, okay, so we're going to look at squeezing first. And usually squeezing is something where we're looking to find folds. So the concept is there's a pre-flop raise, then there's a call in between, and then we bluff 3-bet and take down an uncontested pot. And you win quite a few big blinds from this. You usually get, like, if somebody raises 3 big blinds and there's a call of 3 big blinds, might be some blind money in there as well. So it's a really nice way to take down a few pots. And the move always looks really strong if you pick the right spots. So here's good conditions for the light squeeze. You need a wide open raising range by a player who has a high fold to 3-bet. And then you need a call in between by any player, as long as they call pre-flop raises fairly wide, and also they can fold to a 3-bet as well. We definitely wanted to do this against 2 players that can fold, and the ranges that they have pre-flop need to be wide so that we can find enough folds. So here's what some classic squeeze spots are. Like, a tag opens from the button with 25% plus. A lot of tags now are opening about 40%, sometimes more. And you need to see a fold to 3-bet of about 60% plus in that spot. You need the small blind to call, and we don't really want it to be a loose passive player who calls tons of 3-bets wide. We need a player who can fold to a 3-bet. And he calls a pre-flop raise, and we know that there's a chance we can get him to fold. Now, then when we're in the big blind, we can throw out a decent sized 3-bet, kind of triple the original bet, and then add 3 big blinds onto it. Let's say if the pre-flop raise was 3 and another guy calls, we can raise it up to 12. That should be enough, maybe a bit more if you want to kind of increase your fold equity. Another good spot is when middle position opens, about 20%, cut-off calls with a fairly wide range. They're both pretty good players who can fold to 3-bets. And then we squeeze from the button. Another spot where you're just going to find a lot of folds versus the correct player types. And so far I included what type of cards we need for this, because sometimes it doesn't really matter too much. Another spot where the cut-off opens, the button calls, and they're both taggish kind of players folding to 3-bets, and we squeeze from small blind or big blind. It's usually bet from the big blind because then we don't have to worry about what the small blind's going to do, but still be a good spot in small blind because it'll look pretty strong, like you don't care about what the big blind's going to do. And so here's some info on the type of hands to use. If you remember in the last video we looked at polarizing our 3-bet range. Using some of the hands that we put into our polarized 3-bet range are pretty ideal for something like this, like Jack 7 suited, Ace 2 suited, 9 8 suited. Hands that if we get called we still have a chance to flop okay, and potentially win a big pot when we flop, like a decent draw and we can shove all in or hit a flush or something like that, 2-pair, whatever. Hands like Ace 10, King 10 can be okay, especially if they're offsuit, because we don't expect these hands to play particularly good in a multi-way pot. If it was Ace 10 suited, you'd probably be more inclined to make a call, because then we can play a pot, a multi-way pot with a chance to flop, like a nut flush or nut flush draw, maybe hit the flush, and potentially win a bigger pot when we've got somebody over flushed. So yeah, if they're like ace-10 offsuit or king-10 offsuit, then you can definitely take them type of hands and use them for a bit of a squeeze. Like I said, ace-jack suit and stuff like that. Probably better off to just call with them. And we're going to look at some hand examples at the end of this. The next concept is this two-way 3-bet, which I think is really interesting. Start to use it a lot now. So the concept is, there's a pre-flop raise,